So it's time then for the main event, and the main event that takes us after 71 laps to the halfway point of this 2022 season. Welcome along to the Red Bull Ring, and it's the 35th World Championship Austrian Grand Prix, the 18th to take place at this track, where pole has won 8 out of 17 times, including the last 4 Grand Prix here. The track itself, 2.68 miles long. There are 10 corners, 3 to the left and 7 to the right. A lap distance at full throttle for 77% of the lap, and there are 3 DRS zones, overtaking spots into turn 1, into turn 3 and into turn 4 as well. Big elevation changes, as you would expect here in the Austrian Alps. 63.5 meters lowest point to the highest point at turn 3, and this last year is George Russell on Lance Stroll, taking the inside line at turn 3 and getting the move done without his opponents having to leave the track. Leclerc and Perez down into turn 4. Got to be late on the brakes here, got to be careful on the brakes here, and Sergio Perez very much was. Charles Leclerc, though, fighting him back on the way down to turn 5. That move needs to be got done before you get to this one. Turn 6, Norris and Hamilton in 2021, and what a great scrap that was between the McLaren and the Mercedes driver. As it was previously, we've got the softest tyre compounds that Pirelli can bring. The hard is the C3, the medium the C4, the soft is the C5, and Pirelli saying that that hard tyre could very much be a favoured race tyre in a pit stop strategy that's hovering somewhere between 1 and 2 stops. Here's the starting grid then for the Austrian Grand Prix. And Valtteri Bottas will be starting from the pit lane. Power unit penalties, and they changed his rear wing. They've changed the power unit on Fernando Alonso's Alpine after he didn't start yesterday. Sebastian Vettel then starts 18th alongside Nicholas Latifi for Williams. And ahead of these two, Yuki Tsunoda and Alex Albon, who lost 4 places in the sprint and picked up a 5-second penalty for forcing Norris off the road. Pierre Gasly starts 14th. Podium sitters have come 6 times from that spot here. Zhou Guanyu 13th and Lance Stroll in 12th, moved up 5 places in the sprint. Daniel Ricciardo is 11th. His teammate Lando Norris is 10th. First time in the last 6 races here. The McLaren haven't been in the top 5 on the grid. Mick Schumacher starts 9th, and ahead of them comes Lewis Hamilton 8th and Kevin Magnussen 7th, the other Haas. Esteban Ocon makes his 100th Grand Prix start today from 6th. Sergio Perez 5th for Red Bull. He was 13th on the grid in the sprint. George Russell starts 4th alongside Carlos Sainz, Ferrari 3 and 2 on the grid after being 10th and 12th on their last visit here. And it's Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen on the front row for what is the 6th time this season.
Very late onto the grid there with some nice warm rear tyres.
So we wait for the 5 lights. And it's lights out and away we go. Max Verstappen gets away well from Charles Leclerc, and already George Russell is alongside Sergio Perez. Might make a move here because George Russell got slightly pinched. On the inside goes George Russell and Sergio Perez, and they touch, and Perez is spun round and off into the gravel, and you can see that coming from halfway down the straight.
You can't get round the outside of turn 4 without taking a massive risk. So Sainz lucky really to maintain that position. He went off the track and then overtook George Russell up to turn 3. See if the stewards are happy with that. But once again, the perfect getaway for Verstappen and Ferrari in pursuit.
You can see that Mick Schumacher ahead now of Lewis Hamilton, up in the 7th place. They brought George Russell in. He'll serve that 5-second time penalty before they can work on the changing of the tyres. As down the inside goes Charles Leclerc on Max Verstappen. Oh, and did that catch Max Verstappen napping a little bit? Because he certainly was. Verstappen back out on the hard tyre in 8th place behind Lando Norris.
He is.
Hamilton trying to dive down the inside at turn 8. What a place to make an overtake. Don't often see him there. Hamilton back up ahead of the Haas. Has got 10 mph extra speed because of the DRS, and that very much helps him to clear not 1 but 2 Haas cars within the space of 1 lap. Hamilton, without pitting so far, up into 4th place.
At the moment, Verstappen has still sort of got a net lead in this race, and he needs to clear people like Lewis very quickly indeed.
And that was a very nice piece of car placement from Lewis Hamilton. And Verstappen, after being thwarted for a couple of corners, does get past the Mercedes.
Yeah, but that's left Fernando Alonso because he had a slow exit. Oh, well, there's 3 abreast now. Extraordinary.
3 become 5 into turn 3. Here comes Lando Norris round the outside at turn 4. Late braking for Kevin Magnussen. Charles Leclerc, 12 laps that he has fresher rubber. He comes out behind Verstappen, but should be faster when those tyres warm up. As here goes Lewis Hamilton towards turn 3 with Esteban Ocon, and Hamilton gets that move done before they hit the braking zone in the apex of the corner. And here's a warning for Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc's about 2 car lengths behind you, and I think he knows it. I think he's seen it, and I don't think he really wants to fight this one because he knows that he hasn't really got the machine underneath him to fight this one. You know, yesterday Mick Schumacher was saying, I'm faster than my teammate, I'm faster than Kevin Magnussen. He's proving it at the moment. Certainly, with 12 laps fresher tyres, Charles Leclerc has one of his more simpler overtakes. In for a second stop comes Max Verstappen, and he wasn't really enjoying life on those hard compound tyres. Oh, and off goes Sebastian Vettel. For the second time this weekend, Sebastian Vettel finds himself in the grass, and a 5-second penalty for Pierre Gasly for causing that collision with Sebastian Vettel.
He has to give up that corner. I had the nose ahead. What is wrong with these people?
Ferrari, I think they've got the pace to cover Red Bull with any strategy. Well, we're going to find out.
Red Bull just haven't had an answer to the Ferrari pace. And look how easy it is for Charles Leclerc to get up to the back of that Red Bull, but Verstappen is forcing him the long way round at turn 3. So Leclerc goes for the old switcheroo, forces Verstappen to go a bit wide on the exit, and then he is through on the inside to retake the lead of this race. Charles Leclerc back in front of Max Verstappen. And on the run down, comfortably ahead. Oh no, the engine's gone! The engine's gone for Carlos Sainz. And whilst he was looking at an overtake on Max Verstappen, he has been undone by a power unit problem. And this is the moment that Carlos Sainz hopes of another podium in Formula One, went with Ferrari's 4th mechanical failure in a race this season. George Russell trying to make a move past Esteban Ocon at turn 3, and we've seen that little switcheroo to great effect, and to very good effect for George Russell. So he puts his Mercedes up into 4th where he started this race.
Throttle pedal for the pit stop.
Copy, we'll come back to you.
His teammate, I'm sure a lot of things are going to feel a bit strange at this moment.
Yeah, but you know these things inside out. So obviously there's no cable on it. It's fly-by-wire throttle.
Charles Leclerc started second in the race today. He sees the checkered flag, and for the first time, other than when he's on pole, he takes victory. Charles Leclerc wins the Austrian Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen, after taking maximum points in the sprint yesterday. But that is now half-time officially in the Formula One World Championship. Ferrari are still in it, Max Verstappen still leads it, and these two still scrapping it out and smiling. Charles Leclerc, your winner today.
Finally show our pace, to finally win another race is feeling particularly good. But obviously we need to look at what happened on Carlos' side, because reliability is still a problem, and we need to get on top of this.
Yeah, we were just lacking a bit of pace throughout the race, and we were just struggling on the time management, which is a bit confusing at the moment, which we need to understand a bit better, because normally we are quite okay on that.
I think we optimized the performance and get the maximum out of it, from the beginning. So 13 points in total is really solid operation out of this weekend, and we can be pleased with how it went.
Quite soon in the race I felt that it wasn't going to be a one-stop race just because of the way the tyres were behaving. The winds were very different and very difficult to manage because they were very much crosswind in every quick corner. So it was tough out there, but a lot of fun.
It looks to be the story of my season. As soon as we get a bit of momentum, there's something that goes wrong and it's difficult to continue with it. But this weekend we were very quick and should have been an easy 1-2 for the team.